The stars of the Busch Series are coming out tonight in the first night race ever at the Milwaukee Mile for the Busch Series. Slightly overcast day today, partly cloudy. 71 degrees temperature beginning to go down as the sun sets. Take a look at the track description.
1 mile in length, relatively flat corners, 9.25 degrees, and long sweeping corners, Johnny.
They are. I mean, we can see the straightaways here are 1,265 feet each, and the corners are just about the same. So half this racetrack, you're in a corner, and it's very fast.
Again, David Stremme and Johnny Sauter making up row number 1 as the cars begin to roll onto the Milwaukee Mile.
Great qualifying effort by Casey Atwood inside row number 2.
Jason Keller with a great run here all the time, starting 5th.
You mentioned Shane Meal started row 3. He had run the Busch or the Truck Series race last night, so a little bit of experience running at night on this track. Shane Meal,
the only driver doing double duty here this weekend. Now, Greg Biffle's doing double duty, but it's out in California, the other half of his double.
Take a look at the race analysis for the Milwaukee Mile.
250 laps, 250 miles. Pit window's about 90 to 100 laps. The last red flag lap, 246. Once lap 246 is completed, they will not throw the red flag.
Continue with the inside starting grid. Tim Sauter starts on the outside of row 12. Steve Grisso, winner of this race, one of the previous winners in the field.
Bobby Dotter makes an infrequent start here from nearby Chicago.
Derek Cope will start on the outside of row 15. The sun now has gone down to where we're not seeing, most of the track is not seeing any sunlight on it. So how much will that change the effects that these guys have already worked on all day?
Well, I think as the sun goes down, the track's going to start to cool off. The track will start to tighten up. So I think as the guys pull the tape off the front of the cars, made those slight adjustments, hopefully the cars will be in pretty good shape. You know, what little bit of sun we see just on a backstretch going into turn 3 probably is not going to even be a problem at all. Probably be gone here another 10-15 minutes.
Johnny Sauter making his way to the back of the field because of the engine change. That moves the Lowe's number 5 to the outside pole. David Stremme leads the field to the first ever night race at the Milwaukee Mile. Kyle Busch ducks inside. Right behind David Stremme in the 32, they begin single file down the backstretch.
These teams were able to make some slight adjustments prior to this race. They were able to take the tape off, they adjusted their air pressure, and they were able to use the red winch just for a couple of rounds, and they could do anything they wanted to the track bar. So some adjustments, we'll see how they work.
And Kyle Busch has to be having a lot of confidence in his race car right now. He went on the outside there, tried to make a move for the lead there, but ducked down underneath, and now going underneath David Stremme going for the lead. After he spun this thing out, not even sure what he's got for time. Obviously, his tires, he feels in pretty good shape as he takes the away from David Stremme.
Early on, Kyle Busch gets in front of David Stremme, so he's got confidence in that Lowe's Chevy.
19 years old, too, so not a whole lot's going to bother Kyle Busch. What a great run to the lead already here, 2 laps into this race.
One of the cars on the move, 27 Johnny Sauter, has to go back to the back of the field because of the engine change. He's only up to 32nd. He had a problem at the start.
So right now he's got a lot of slower cars in front. Tries to split the 2 cars. Makes some contact with a 94 car, but he's already passed 11 cars since this race started.
We know that he was going to be in pretty good shape here. When he qualified second, his car was fast. Obviously, had to do that engine change. He's going to come up here where we see just a little bit of right front damage on here. They're going to get that pulled out on the first stop there to help that car free it up again.
Yeah, Johnny, he's going to have to be patient here. He's so much faster than a lot of these cars. He needs to take his time, pick his way through here. We're going to see some caution flags. He's got a good enough car. He's not going to get lapped. He just needs to not do what he did to the right front corner of that car.
That's a situation here where it doesn't look like there's any smoke coming off the tire, which is a good thing because you don't want that fender rubbing on that tire this early on to force him to make a green flag stop. So I think right now he's probably in pretty good shape. No smoke coming off there. Like I said, he'll get a fix on the first stop.
Johnny Sauter makes his way around the 77 of Jimmy Kitchens. Great battle for ninth. Jason Leffler on the outside, Mike Bliss on the inside.
Two former Craftsman Truck Series drivers going at it here. Jason had a couple second place finishes in a winner. Mike Bliss in the Craftsman Truck Series got a side-by-side battle for second. Casey Atwood going after David Stremme.
Stremme on the high side of the track, and that's not the ideal line to run around this way.
No, he's just got caught up on the outside here as Casey Atwood goes by him. Those guys look really good in practice, and for Shane Neal is going to be right there behind him, working his way up to the front also.
Watch David Stremme slide up into the center of the corner. It allows Shane Neal to drive underneath him. He's a lot better through the center of the corner. David Stremme looks like he may be fighting a tight condition because he cannot keep his car on the bottom of the racetrack.
We saw in practice there that he wasn't quite as good as what I think he wanted to be, although he had a great qualifying run. They're going to have to come in, make a couple adjustments, and I'm sure by the end of the race, David's going to be in pretty good shape.
These teams have 3 sets of tires in their pits that they're allowed to use during this race. This race, 250 miles, we saw that the pit window was about 90 through 100 miles. So we know they're going to make at least 2 pit stops. So they will do some serious adjusting as Casey Atwood goes for the lead on Kyle Busch.
Atwood has position as Kyle Busch gets to the outside, and look who's going to follow Casey. That is the 38 of Shane Neal, and he has experience. He ran the truck race here last night, was in 4th place before he had an incident towards the end of the race, grew back in 12th, so he knows his way around this track at night.
I think that's where the advantage at the start of this race has. He did run the truck race last night. He knows what the track's going to do, especially in the first 10, 15, 20 laps of this race, and it's showing right now how good he's running.
He had such a good run last night. He had a top 5 finish scoring, but we heard him tell, I think he told Wendy that he knows where he was off because he felt like he had a 4th place truck last night. He knows what he needed to do to try to have an even better truck than that, a better car tonight.
Great side-by-side racing for 4th. Ray, what's happening?
Well, Rick, I think you guys are pretty close on that fact that they could go 120 laps here, but almost every driver I talked to down here in pre-race said they'd like to get to pit road right around lap 80. If they could do it then, they could go 80 and then 160, and that would be the perfect scenario for these guys if it works out the way they want. That way they know what they've got for tires and for fuel.
Continuing side-by-side racing for 4th. David Stremme in the trim spot 32. He was your pole sitter. On the inside, Jason Keller, our defending winner of this race in the Miller High Life 22.
David Stremme finished 3rd here last year, so he knows his way around this racetrack. He really hung in pretty well on the outside.
Yeah, he did. I mean, like first couple laps, he slid back a little bit on the outside. Now that they've got the track cleaned off a little bit there, he found a little bit more speed, but not the speed that you see on the outside.
10 laps in the books. Casey Atwood got his first career Busch Series win on this track. He'd like to make it 2. Shane Neal has something to say about that. He's running in 2nd. Shane Neal has put 29 cars a lap down already in this race.
What an incredible pace he has set. He has lapped all the way up to the 14th position. Good side-by-side battle right there. That's the 8th position, I think. Ron Hornaday, 8th. Bobby Hamilton trying to take it away. Next was the 9th position. Johnny Sauter has already got by this duo, in addition to getting by his teammate of David Green, all the way up into the 7th position.
At first, I thought maybe Johnny Sauter was being a little too aggressive to get forward, but Francis Shane's coming. Man, he's got to get going. I mean, Kenny Wallace has already come in, made 1 pit stop. His car just off a little bit. Came in, and now new tires. He's going to go. So we got more of that, Ray?
Yeah, Johnny, he was really sliding the nose on that car, and he said he just felt like he was wearing the tires off. So they wanted to come in, put 4 on. He did it at lap 67. They went up 3 rounds on the track bar for Kenny Wallace.
That's why Kenny Wallace right now seems to be so fast. Made some adjustments on there. He's got those new tires, but he's sitting at 2 laps down right now. He needs to get as fast as he can. See if he can't catch Shane Meal, 38 car, and just try to get at least one of his laps back.
What he would love to happen right now is this race go green until all the other cars make a green flag pit stop. Then all the time he's gaining right there, you see him easily drive by David Green. That may allow him to gain enough ground to get back in the lead lap.
These cars were impounded after qualifying. This is a one-day show. They've practiced, they've qualified, and now racing. And so that first pit stop, there are going to be a lot of changes made on these cars.
I think everybody, with a possible exception of Shane Meal, will be making some adjustments on their car. Mike Busch is pretty well maintaining the second position. Once he got into second, Shane's just a little bit quicker than Mike, but he's probably obviously the second place car. He needs the second fastest car in the racetrack. But we also have to keep an eye on Johnny Sauter. He started so far back and already moved up into the top 7.
Yeah, the race pace is definitely slowed down right now. It's just that Shane has not slowed down as fast as all the other cars right now. And like I say, Mike Bliss is the only one that's really maintaining about the same speed, where Jason Keller is just about a tenth off of what the leader is. So he's just barely pulling away from him lap after lap.
Shane Meal with the dominant performance in the Craftsman Truck Series race. He was running fourth, had an incident that dropped him back to finish 12th. But Shane Meal is running extremely well in the Craftsman Truck Series. One guy who we think might be running away with the Truck Series is Dennis Setzer.
Carl Underwood was very close to Dennis Setzer. Had a great run going last night. Got a little bit wide coming off turn number 4. Made some hard contact with the wall. Now finds himself 131 points out of the lead.
And a name that you saw in 5th, Ted Musgrave, started off the season horribly. Started it as bad as you can imagine for Ted Musgrave. Already has made his way back up into the top 5. Ray, what's going on?
Couple of rounds down on the wedge for the number 2 for Ron Hornaday. These guys say the track is already starting to tighten up, and they can feel that. Of course, the fuel was burning off here, but Hornaday said he wanted to get in. Lap 76, and we got a crash on the straightaway.
Casey Atwood gets into the wall in the number 14 Navy Chevrolet. And so our first caution comes out, and it couldn't have come at a worse time for Ron Hornaday.
Let's see if we can take a look at what happened here. See the 27 of Johnny Sauter. He's already caught this group. There's Kenny Wallace with fresh tires on the inside. Johnny runs into the back of him going in the corner. Casey makes hard contact with the outside wall. What a terrible break for Casey Atwood.
It's a terrible break. I mean, it looked like Casey was doing the right thing there. Was 3 wide and just saying, man, I don't want to be in the middle of this. As he got off the gas, Johnny Sauter running in the back of him, and too bad for Casey.
A little bit of that case you were talking about, Johnny, not having to be so aggressive so early. He was never in any danger of going a lap down, and unfortunately it's going to end Casey Atwood's day.
Steering wheel coming off. You see Casey Atwood moving around. Momentarily he'll drop the window net, letting the track officials know that he's all right. Very frustrated. You saw that as he took the window net down. Johnny Sauter has some damage to the front of that car, and he has moved a few people out of the way on his way from the back to the front.
Unfortunately, because he had such a great car, it would be interesting to see, without any damage, what he could do possibly with Shane Meal. But I think Newton Moore and his guys are going to have to work on that car a little bit. Now it looks like our leader may be headed towards pit road.
Right?
Yes, he is. He's the very first guy to do it, and he'll be in the very first stall. Here comes the Great Cliffs Dodge. These guys said, what should we do with it? He said, give me 4 tires, not one single adjustment. They're very happy with the way the car has been handling. He is on the top. You see Mike Bliss and David Stremme on the bottom of your triple split. Now let's go to Wendy.
David Stremme's going to come in for 4 tires and fuel. There was a little bit of concern a minute ago. Hermie Sadler stalled his car right in this pit stall. They were worried about getting Hermie out of the way to get David Stremme in. They decided to go down on the air pressure and make a wedge adjustment. Still on the right side. They're coming around on the left side of Chase's tires. We'll see who wins this race off pit road.
We saw Shane Meal having a little bit of problem on his. Looks like he's going to lose a couple of spots. But as good as this car is, he's going to get right back up there. But I'm sure he would have loved to have come back out the lead.
Jason Keller, Mike Bliss, David Stremme, and Shane Meal, the first 4 off of pit road. The reason for caution number 1, Casey Atwood getting into the turn 1 corner. 13 cars on the lead lap. Jason Keller leads him to the green flag. Mike Bliss on the outside of the slower laps traffic of Mike Wallace. Bliss able to clear him and now sets his sights on Jason Keller. We've got to keep our eyes on the 38 of Shane Meal. He's had the strongest car all night.
Yeah, Shane's just caught back on a little bit of traffic right now. It's, like I say, it's good to see what's earlier with the no changes. Once you get the air pressure build up in the tires, probably, you know, get right back in the thick of things and go right up through here.
And he needs to show some patience. He needs to keep the front fenders on that car. He's got such a good car. He doesn't need to take any chances. He's got, gosh, 160 laps to go in this race. Let the race come back to him. As the tires wear down, if his car's as good as it was, then he's going to be able to start picking these cars off one at a time.
Ron Hornaday trying to make his way around the 8th of Martin Truex Jr. Greg Biffle getting in front of Martin Truex Jr. They're running in 8th and 9th positions right now.
I think Greg Biffle is somebody that we will hear from before this race is over. Johnny talked about how he got back by our leader Shane Meal right before the caution came out. He's already worked his way back up into the top 10. And he's somebody that knows what adjustments to make on his car. He's won 2 races here in a Busch car. He's won in a truck series. He knows this racetrack. He's going to get better and better as the night wears on.
Greg Biffle also the last driver to win from the pole at this track. And just in front of Greg Biffle is the only driver that has that opportunity tonight, David Stremme. Great battle for second. Stremme trying to get by the 20 of Mike Bliss.
David Stremme has obviously made some changes to that. Like we saw him right at the beginning where he fell back a little bit. He started to gain movement forward. You can see he's loosened this thing up a little bit.
There's a lot of movement there. A lot of movement in that car.
And, you know, it just keeps getting better and better. He's going to let tires cool down a little bit and go up there and get right back up there.
Jason Keller knows how to lead at this track. This is his 4th time he's led at the Milwaukee Mile. Second race this year that Jason Keller's been out front.
Jason also knows how to lead, how to win at this racetrack. Ray Dunlap, more on Jason Keller.
Yeah, Phil, whenever he was out there before this pit stop, he was very, very tight from the center off. So they went down on air pressure all the way around on all 4 tires. Also made a slight wedge adjustment for him on the left rear. Jason said the car feels pretty good now. Of course, it's full of fuel, but he was very, very tight center off earlier.
Jason Keller clicking off laps at almost 30 seconds flat.
Well, the top 3 cars made almost the exact same lap time. All 3 cars that last lap were within 0.04 of a second.
Which is pretty good. You know, you got Jason just, you know, trying to walk away here a little bit. You got Mike Bliss running in second with David Stremme trying to pass him, which is probably why Jason's being able to pull away just a little bit, just because, like I say, the second and third place are just right there nose to tail.
The Miller High Life Ford of Jason Keller out in front of the pack, trying to put a little distance between himself and the rest of the field. Shane Meal will try to move up through that field to catch Keller. Leffler led a lap on this caution.
It's really hard to get at least one of those laps back. And, you know, whether he's going to be able to or not, I don't know, but he sure has tried desperately to get at least one back.
The problem is Kyle Busch right now is 2 laps down, so there are so many cars 1 lap down that he'll never get a free pass. He's going to have to earn at least one of the laps down and get in front of the leader as we see Shane Meal move to the inside of the 32 car of David Stremme. That's for the second position. But if Kyle Busch can get in front of the leader, the caution comes out, he earns that lap back, and that puts him with all those other cars 1 lap down, and then he would be eligible for a free pass.
He's still going to be racing those guys for that free pass.
He's going to have to earn a lot to get, you know, one of those free passes. So There again, he is really trying.
Kyle Busch working on Mike Bliss. Mike Bliss is our leader. Kyle Busch is 2 laps down. He's trying to get 1 of those laps back so that he would then be racing the other lap down drivers for that free pass.
Remember how the free pass works. The closest car to the leader, or to the lead lap, gets the free pass. Right now, there's a number of cars 1 lap down, so the closest car 1 lap down would get the free pass. As we see, Shane Mills, he doesn't care if the 5 car gets a lap back or not.
I just say that it looked like Kyle Busch is really working it, probably a little bit quicker than a 20, but it didn't look like he was going to be any quicker than what Shane Mills is.
Shane Mills and the 38, or the 38 of Shane Mills and the 32 of David Stremme working their way by the 5. Kyle Busch on board with David Stremme as we look to the outside. Associate sponsor Briggs & Stratton located here in the area. Kyle was able to go and visit some of the employees of that company earlier today.
He's having to go the long way around right now on the outside, but he's hanging in there fairly tough on the outside of the racetrack.
He is, but he's a couple of cars back right now, but he still has to be within a shot of these guys in the clean air. You see if he can't do anything about it.
Because again, he's going to have to pass the leader to earn 1 of his laps back. There'll be no free pass until he at least gets back to 1 lap down. Then he can race those other cars that you mentioned, Rick, to try to be able to be in position to get the lap back.
You may be asking, why are we spending so much time talking about Kyle Busch? He's sitting in 26th position. Well, he's racing for a championship with another car that's on the lead lap, and that's the 8 of Martin Truex Jr. He's currently in 7th position. So this is a big points night for Kyle Busch and Martin Truex Jr.
Looks like Shane Mills got his car running a little bit better now that they've probably made a little bit more adjustments. Looks like he's going to be battling for the lead here in a short little bit. As David Stremme coming up right now. Excuse me. That Mike Bliss holding the lead and walking away just a little bit.
As we've passed the halfway point, let's take a look at the MBNA race summary. 7 different leaders, 8 lead changes, 116.60 miles per hour, the average green flag speed.
14 cars on the lead lap is probably the biggest thing. You know, just at the beginning of the race, not having caution for such a long time hasn't been real beneficial for that part of it. As we're watching Johnny Sauter continue to move forward, even with that damage on the nose, it's still running pretty good.
Yeah, that's our 6th place car right there, Johnny Sauter. We're back to our leader, Mike Bliss. Shane Mills, 38 car in 2nd. David Stremme in 3rd, a 32 car.
Martin Truex Jr. trying to stay on the inside of the 59 of Stacy Compton. What's going on with Martin Truex, Wendy?
Well, with Kyle Busch having trouble tonight, we also thought Martin Truex Jr. was going south about 10 laps ago. He said there was no power off the corner and has a bad miss. They thought they had a broken valve spring. Crew Chief Kevin Mannion said, baby it all you can. About 20 laps went by, and he says the motor is fine now. The car is just real tight in the middle of the turns.
As of now, Martin Truex Jr. is in front of Kyle Busch by 66 points. To start this race, it was just 10.
A gain of 56 points. But again, we've got a lot of races to go. There's almost 120 laps left. But right now, I do not like the position of Kyle Busch because of the fact that he is 2 laps down.
Bonnie Hamilton Jr. trying to get by Stacy Compton. Go ahead, John.
Well, Martin Truex there, probably what he was feeling there is they just got done off the caution. May have just had something on his spark plug. A little bit of foul in the plug. After running a couple laps, cleans it off. Let him fall song again.
Some guys say when the engine runs a little bit worse, they can go faster around this track because they don't push it as hard through the corners.
Well, I think you would definitely pick up your corner speed because you don't have all that power when you initially get back to the throttle. These drivers, after a number of laps on the tires, they're probably not able to match these things. In other words, put the throttle right on the floor. If you have a little bit of a miss, it kills a little bit of that power, you're able to do that. So a lot of times, your corner speed would be a little bit faster than it was otherwise.
Mike Bliss, just 0.3 of a second in front of Shane Mills. Shane Mills dominated this race early on, led 62 laps. Bliss now at 13 laps led from Milwaukee. Shane Meal, and the Great Clips 38 takes over the top spot once again.
He kept working on him, working on him, working on him. Finally got him on the outside. Shane Meal told us last night that he really liked the outside. The last time he ran a Busch car here, he was able to make that move on the outside, past Mike Bliss, and brought David Stremme with him.
That's a pretty bold move there. You know, he was working, trying to run the bottom, and you saw a couple laps. He was just working the outside to see if it could happen, and man, he made that thing stick.
Are we going to say a second groove has come in at Milwaukee?
A Shane Meal groove has come in at Milwaukee. I don't know about for anybody else.
Well, David Stremme obviously went back out there because Mike at that point in time got held down to the bottom and just decided to let the guys go.
Take a look at the lap leaders. Shane Meal adding to his lead. 64 laps led. Jason Keller led 40. Mike Bliss just coming off of the 18 laps he led. Casey Atwood, Kyle Busch, David Stremme, and Jason Leffler all leading laps at the Milwaukee Mile.
Remember, Shane Meal is doing this in a substitute role. Casey King, the regular driver on this Great Clips Dodge. He's out in California, going to run the Nextel Cup race tomorrow in Sonoma. Shane Meal stepped in here. He's done such a terrific job. We're 141 laps into this 250-lap race, and now he's driving away.
More on Shane Meal, Ray Dunlap.
Well, Rick, the race car that he's driving here tonight is a brand new chassis. I told you the first time they came down pit road at lap 78, they didn't make any changes at all. But on that last pit stop on 118, they did make a track bar adjustment to try to free him up just a little bit. They did put 4 tires on it, and his crew members got him one position on the racetrack. Shane's got the other couple out on the track.
Right now, just such a great battle for the lead. You know, David Stremme was able to come up there and challenge for him, and I thought for sure that Shane was going to be able to walk away as we see David get underneath, and we'll see how good that outside groove is now.
David appeared to have the better car right now. I'm like you, Johnny. I thought he was going to drive away. He opened up a 3/4 of a second lead in a matter of a lap or two. But here, David Stremme fights back on the inside.
David Stremme, your pole sitter, taking the top spot back away from Shane Meal.
Remember, a Dodge has never won a Busch race here in Milwaukee. That's 2 Dodges, 1-2.
They have been the top. They've been the cream of the crop so far tonight.
Looks like they're fighting to see who's going to get that first win.
There's a few other drivers that are going to want to throw their cars into the mix.
Remember, not only would that be the first win for Dodge, but neither one of these drivers has ever won a NASCAR Busch race. But they would join the ranks of new winners of the NASCAR Busch Series.
Mike Bliss hasn't won a Busch Series race either, and he's sitting in 3rd position right now.
And there's a lot of laps to go yet. Still 106 to go. A lot of adjustments can still be made to these cars. Who knows who's going to, you know, be there at the end of this deal.
Now we're getting very close to the fuel pit window as far as they can make it. If on one more stop, they'll be able to make it to the end of the race.
That's right. Just about any time, especially in the next 10 laps. So if we see a caution flag, we're liable to see wholesale pit stops, and that may be the last pit stop. Again, most of these teams have already used their 2 sets of tires. They're allowed 3. They've already used 2 of the sets. Remember, any green flag pit stops, the tires they use under green do not count against you. It's only under caution that you're allowed to use 3 sets of tires in addition to the tires you start on. They've already used 2. They've got 1 more set of tires in the pits.
Hey, Ray, what have you got on the Sunoco strategy?
Well, Rick, the thing is, most of these guys can go till about 198, something like that, right around that area. But the thing is, many of these guys told me they'd be well over 4 miles a gallon. But I just checked down here with a couple of different guys that told me they're under 4. They're at about 3.8, 3.84, something like that. So these guys aren't getting near as good mileage as they thought. And we saw that same thing happen last night in the Craftsman Truck Series race where guys weren't getting as good a mileage as they had expected.
David Stremme back out in front of the field. Led 7 laps so far. Welcome Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile under the lights. For the first time, David Stremme came in, your leader, came out second in our pit summary.
Big loser Mike Bliss came in the third position, came out 10th, almost at the tail end of the lead lap here. There's only right now 12 cars on the lead lap. Mike Wallace was the recipient of the free pass.
Lights are off on the pace car, meaning he will duck down pit road. Out in front, Shane Neal will try to add to his 69 laps led.
Got a great start there, which is what he needed. Needed to make sure that he's in clean air, get by that lap car of Jason Leffler there, just so it doesn't slow him down. Although it didn't seem to slow David down too much, caught right back up with Shane Neal.
Jason Keller, we're taking a look at his onboard. That's the lap car right there. Jason Leffler side by side for the lead.
David Stremme on the inside, Shane Neal on the outside. We saw Shane Neal make the pass earlier today on the outside of the track, but it looks as though David Stremme has got the stronger car on the inside, and David Stremme takes the top spot away.
What a great power move. We saw him about 2 or 3 car lengths behind Shane Neal coming off turn 4. He drove right up beside him in the middle of 3 and 4.
This car's probably working really good because, like you say, he was about 4 car lengths behind him going into turn 1. By the time he's on the back stretch, right on him, 2, 3, and 4 underneath him off 4. Just a great pass for the lead.
Good battle right there. Greg Biffle, the 60 car, goes to the inside of David Green. That's the 5th position right there. That's Ron Hornaday, the 2 car. He's worked his way up into the 4th position.
Jason Leffler still racing with them, although he's even 2 laps down now. What a strong car for Leffler. Under 50 laps to go. David Stremme back out in front. Shane Neal, Jason Keller in 3rd. Ron Hornaday in 4th.
David Stremme has got such a good car right now. He didn't want to waste any time after that restart. He said, I don't want to run that many laps, get my tires hot. It's going to be harder to get by him. If I got my shot, I'm going to take it. And he did.
It's so much better if you got an opportunity on fresh tires to get by the guy rather than waiting too long, because every once in a while you get behind somebody and your car's not quite right, you just end up burning your tires up trying to get by.
David Stremme trying to make it 4 out of the last 6 races. It's already been 3 of the last 5 have been won from the pole at the Milwaukee Mile. David Stremme started on the pole with a new track record to start his day off today.
We're inside 50 laps to go. David Stremme not able to drive away from Shane Neal, who's got about a half-second lead, a little over half-second lead. They're running very, very comparable lap times. That time, David Stremme was about a 10th and a half quicker than Shane Neal, but they had been fairly close prior to that.
And Jason Keller's holding right on the back of Shane Neal, so it's a pretty good battle there.
Clint Boyer in the Reese's 21, sitting in 7th position right now. Looking back at our points leader, Martin Truex Jr.
And Martin took a look at the inside of Clint Boyer, was not able to do it, and that allowed Bobby Hamilton in the Team Marines number 25 to pull up beside him. That is for the 8th position.
You see first and second in points, Martin Truex Jr. on the outside, Kyle Busch on the inside in the number 5 on the right side of your screen.
Kyle's now being shown in the 17th position, so he keeps gaining positions. He keeps staying on the racetrack, running as good as he can, and he keeps gaining positions. Now he's only 8 positions behind Martin Truex.
This is a battle for second. But there's our points leaders again. Martin Truex Jr. on the inside, and on the outside, Kyle Busch.
Remember, this is not for position in the race. Martin Truex is on the lead lap, currently being shown in the 9th position. Kyle Busch in the 17th position, 2 laps down.
But Kyle wants to get in front of Martin Truex there, just so Martin can't move forward anymore. Just try to keep him at bay a little bit if he can.
Take a look at the point standings. If the race were to end right now, Martin Truex Jr., your leader, 31 points in front of Kyle Busch.
Guys are both racing pretty hard. One not for position, but for points. And like I say, they could both kind of mess that deal up. So it looks like Martin's just going to maybe fall behind and just say, you know what, let's not chance this. We're ahead of them by a long ways right now. Let's just go ahead and follow.
Martin Truex got real loose getting in turn 1 the lap before this, so he is racing extremely hard because he knows he's got to get by Kyle Busch to go up there so he can chase the 21 of Clint Bowyer for position.
Even though not a great day for Kyle Busch, really is not going to hurt him that much in the points where he sits right now.
Well, not as much as we thought it was going to when he got that 2 laps down and he was way back on the board there. But so he just keeps working away, keeps moving, and you know, not that it's going to be the day that they wanted. Might not be devastating.
Remember in the pre-race show, he said we have to minimize our bad days. Well, if he can get a top 15, top 17 finish out of this, he minimized his bad day.
Side-by-side racing. That's not for position. Again, Kyle Busch is 2 laps down. He goes by Clint Bowyer. Now, Clint Bowyer on the lead lap, currently in 8th position.
Remember, this 5 car is a championship team. They won the championship with Brian Vickers. They know how to win a championship. Again, they've had some bad luck today. They've really not had the car as good as they needed to, and they're going to salvage a pretty good finish if they can maintain where they are. So that's how you win championships.
Kyle Busch, Martin Truex Jr. looking for a championship. The 32 of David Stremme looking for his first win in the Busch Series. Heating up front. Shane Meal just in front of Jason Keller. Keller trying to get by Shane Meal to claim his 2nd victory in the past 2 years.
Hey, don't look now. Ron Hornaday's right behind this group. Just moments ago, Jason Keller drove right up underneath Shane Meal. Let's take a look at it. Watch how close he gets. It's going to get him sideways. I don't think he made any contact, but Shane Meal had a handful of steering wheel.
Yes, he did. I mean, it looks like Jason's car is just a little bit quicker through the center of the corners, which could be key by the end of this race.
Inside of 20 laps remaining in this race, Shane Meal trying to hold on for his first ever Busch Series victory.
He's struggling right now. Look at Jason Keller.
That was a good move there. Like I say, he's just real fast through the center. Got Shane loose there coming up just as he's starting to get on the gas pedal. And just little door banging. Good racing going on here. Sometimes the outside ends up with a...
Oh, problems. Jason Keller almost had some real problems. Shane Meal continues to go. Ron Hornaday making his move. And David Stremme moves back up into 2nd.
A 3-wide pass right through the middle. David Stremme going back after Shane Meal for the lead.
That was such great racing there. I mean, it looks like Jason Keller's got hung up there a little bit. They got a little loose. And both David Stremme and Ron Hornaday come flying right up through there.
I think Shane Meal is struggling right now with his car. Jason Keller was obviously faster than Shane Meal, but he got hung up in there trying to get by him. It allowed David Stremme, who has been the fastest car in the racetrack for the last number of laps, to get by both he and Ron Hornaday.
That's going back to having a lot of confidence that you didn't have a flat right front. Like I say, it looked like he got high on the track, got some arbos, took a little while to get the tires cleaned off. He's able to come back up, sitting there running 2nd, sitting in a pretty good spot.
Shane Meal was able to fight off the challenge of Jason Keller. Now he's going to have to contend with the 32 car of David Stremme. Once again, he's got about a 7/10 of a second lead, but it's about 4 car lengths.
Shane Meal's girlfriend getting a little bit excited. Could be a little bit soon. 16 laps to go. Shane Meal out in front looking for his first Busch Series win.
Let's take a look at this pass right here. This is David Stremme's onboard. You see Jason Keller get sideways. That's the 2 car of Ron Hornaday. Watch David Stremme go right through the middle of these 2 cars.
Almost looked like Ron Hornaday may have gone the back of Jason Keller a little bit and slowed them both up. Allowed David Stremme to squeeze right through the center there. Pretty cool move.
2 Dodges back up in front of Dodges. Never won at the Milwaukee Mile. Shane Meal will try to hold off the hard-charging Dodge.
Looks like Shane Meal looks like he's starting to use up that racetrack and slide up, although it gives him a great run coming off. You know, David's running right down there bottom. Wendy, you got a little bit more on that, David Stremme?
It's a toss-up. Who's hungrier for their first Busch Series win, David Stremme or Shane Meal? David got in the marbles about 13 laps ago and fell back. He got a little loose, got in the marbles, but he's working his way back up front. The South Bend, Indiana native has plenty of family in the stands tonight. His parents, Lou and Cindy Stremme, both late model racers in Indiana, they decided not to race this weekend and to sit in the stands and root for their son David, his first Busch Series victory.
Looks like both of them are using up everything that they got. Both slipping and sliding a little bit. Who knows where it's going to end up?
Hey, if they get up here battling for the lead, you've got Ron Hornaday, Jason Keller right behind this group. It's anybody's race.
Something you've got to remember, that 38 has never won, even with Casey Kane driving it. He's been second a couple times.
Yeah, this year they have not won a race at all. They won the last race at Homestead last year, the finale for the Busch Series.
David Stremme reeling in Shane Meal. Shane Meal's best finish, third in the Busch Series. Emily Whitaker, Shane Meal's girlfriend, watching on. Very exciting time as Shane Meal going for his first ever win in the Busch Series.
It's looked like what David Stremme gains through the center of the corner, he loses off the corner. It looks like he's getting in through the center, but off the corner, Shane gets such that good run you were talking about, Johnny, as he diamonds the racetrack. He's able to gain a little bit back of what he lost in the first half of the corner.
You always want a car that goes really good through the center, but the way Shane Meal's driving this thing, he's sliding up, he's being able to still get it turned, but putting the power down. But you see David just so fast through the center, he just can't do anything because Shane's coming down and trying to do a block on him. But if he ever gets a fender in there, it's going to be over.
What David Stremme needs is 3 more feet. If he can get 3 feet of that car up the side of Shane Meal, then he's going to stay there. If Shane comes down, he's going to make contact with him and be in trouble.
He's going to have to time this just about perfect. He's going to have to get a little closer to him if he can. And as Shane slides up the track, he's going to have to go down. This might be a really good shot of what can happen. Shane's trying to hold it down. David's getting in there. You see this, Shane just shuts the door right out.
Shane Meal has had to work very hard to get his name back in good graces in NASCAR. He was suspended a year ago. Has been able to run now in the Craftsman Truck Series. Now he's succeeding on the Busch level. He's got a best of third, looking to improve on that tonight and claim his first ever victory. And also, David Stremme right behind him, looking for that first victory.
Only 9 more laps. You've got 3 cars. Look at Ron Hornaday. Let's don't count him out. He's looking to get underneath David Stremme.
It looked like Stremme is trying that higher line, the same thing as what Shane Meal was. And all of a sudden, bam, here's Ron Hornaday on the inside. I think these guys are just really using their tires up.
It looked like David Stremme might have made contact with the outside wall coming off turn 2, Johnny.
If he didn't, it was awful close, wasn't it there, Phil?
Ron Hornaday moves into second, sets his sights on Shane Meal. With more on Ron Hornaday, down the race.
Hey, Rick, keep in mind, in this stable of cars, there's not very many drop snouts, but last year, Hornaday won with a drop snout, chassis number 31 at Nazareth, and he said we ought to take one this year up to Milwaukee. So this is chassis number 36. They ran it at Richmond, and he didn't like it much, so they made a few changes to it, and Hornaday is dialed into second now. They have been telling him on the radio, no time to wait. If you've got anything, give it to us now.
A drop snout's probably going to be pretty hard to explain to the average fan, but what it is the pivot points in the front of the car with the lower A-frames, that they're just a little bit lower, different spindles on there. And I'll tell you what, Ron's getting that thing to really hook the bottom, and that's what you want it for, is to hook that bottom really good. Might be able to make a pass here on Shane with it.
He's got this car better and better the entire race. Shane's going to give him the bottom of the racetrack, but he gets a good run off the car. Look at Ron Hornaday go.
Coming down the front stretch, Ron Hornaday making the pass on Shane Meal. Ron Hornaday comes in front of the pack, and that will be our 8th different leader of the night.
Looks like this is Ron's car that's just hugging that bottom so good. It looked like Shane and David there used up their tires a lot, trying to stay in the lead, having great side-by-side or almost side-by-side racing there. Ron Hornaday was able to come up there, take advantage of it. Looks like he might start pulling away a little bit.
This is a situation where Butch Hilton and Ron Hornaday kept working on this car, kept getting it better and better and better, made a green flag pit stop, and end up getting his lap back earned by earning it. And here he is in front, and he's driving away.
Over a year ago, the last time Ron Hornaday Jr. visited Victory Lane, that was in Nazareth back in 2003. And now he moves out in front of the field. looking for his first ever Busch Series win at the Milwaukee Mile.
This will complete lap 246. That means there will be no red flag to finish this race. If we have caution on the racetrack, they will not red flag it. We will run to the end.
Looked like Ron's car's handling very good. His hands ain't hardly moving on that steering wheel. Coming up off the corner where we saw both Shane Meal and David Stremme having a little bit more difficulty coming up off. And like I say, battle for second, starting to heat up again.
David Stremme side by side with Shane Meal. They were battling for the win just a few laps ago. Ron Hornaday was able to get by both of them, take the lead. Now they're side by side for second.
Look at the brake heat on that left front there. But those guys are running these things as hard as they can. 3 laps ago, just everything they got. You see Shane there getting loose, and he's having a hard time with it right now.
They're trying to throw the block on Jason Keller, the 22 car right behind Shane Meal. 2 laps to go this time by.
Coming out of turn 4 across the start-finish line. 2 miles remain for Ron Hornaday.
Looks right now the race is just strictly going to be for the 3rd and 4th place right here. So we'll have to watch and see how that's going to pan out.
Ron Hornaday came out of the pits, had some work to do to get by David Stremme. Shane Meal was able to keep the car moving in the right direction. This time by, the white flag flies for Ron Hornaday.
It looked like we were going to have one of the young guns get their first win. It looked like it was going to be David Stremme, then Shane Meal, then back to David Stremme again, then back to Shane Meal, and the wily veteran Ron Hornaday is going to put him away.
We haven't really talked much about him except for him to get back on that lead lap. He's stuck right up there on us, and here he came.
As he comes out of turns 3 and 4, Ron Hornaday Jr. sees the checkered flag for his 4th career win coming at the Milwaukee Mile.
Got trouble down at turn number 4.
As soon as he comes across the start-finish line, problems happen in turn 4.
Looked like the 38 may have slid around there a little bit.
It's the last lap by. The 38 was running 3rd and the 22 4th, and the positions switched this last time. But Ron Hornaday is going to get the win.
David Stremme coming home with his career best 2nd place finish. Jason Keller, last year's winner, came across the start-finish line in 3rd.
Well, it's been 38 races since that win back at Nazareth, but I'll tell you what, if you want to see a Busch beer shower, here it comes. Win number 4 for Ron Hornaday. A winner here in the Craftsman Truck Series, now a winner in the Busch Series. I'll tell you what, I talked to Butch about not giving up, but man, when you guys got down a lap, I said, I think they're in trouble, but you hung in there.
No, I'll tell you what, I got to thank Richard for one to give me this opportunity to drive this rocket ship. AC Delco to stand behind us. I'll tell you, Butch and the guys, we were just snug, and we fixed it in practice and qualify. We thought we were going to be too free for the race, and we were still snug again. They just kept on working and working on this AC Delco Chevrolet, and you know, real men, no AC Delco parts. But no, cool day. Everybody back in the shop, thanks. Car's in one piece. A couple people might be mad at me, but they put me in the fence a couple times coming off. I think in the 8 car, I had to slide him up a little bit because he drove me down and got in the marbles. But other than that, Richard, Speedy, everybody back in the shop. Bobby for letting me do your straight line testing and all that stuff down in Tucson. Everything pays off.
All right, congratulations, Ron Hornaday back in victory lane here at Milwaukee.
This copyrighted telecast may not be